who is, I'm really proud to say, one of our students. He doesn't mind me telling a little story about him. I started here 5 years ago. I was new here. James was about to enter level 6. And he came to see me, and he told me that he'd struggled in law in level 5. We sat down and we discussed it, and we basically agreed, or came up with a suggestion, that to begin with, he could sit through a 2-hour workshop that I ran, and then when I repeat that 2-hour workshop with another group, he could turn up to that as well, and feel free to leave halfway through if he basically got everything that we've covered. This gentleman turned up to every damn workshop that I did throughout the year, twice. Talk about pain and suffering, right? Okay? And ended up with a first for law, right? Now, you've heard a lot of people this week. I think the theme of this week is determination and perseverance. And this man has it in spades, right? What I'm going to do, I want to show you a video which will take about 10, 12 minutes. Some of you may already have seen this. And then James is going to talk to you. And once you've seen the video, you'll realize just how brave he is for standing up here and talking in front of such a large group. Okay? Hopefully we won't have any technical problems. So this will take about 10 minutes.
This time next year.
Welcome back to this time next year, where my guests all hope to change their lives with a 12-month pledge, but we get to see the results in the blink of an eye. Now, my next guest has something he's wanted to conquer his whole life, and he is determined that this is the year he'll finally do it. Please welcome James Tennant from Leeds. So what would you like to do by this time next year?
This time next year, I will take control of my stomach.
I know you've struggled with your stammer for a very long time, and here are your friends and family to tell us a bit more about it.
I first thought there might be something wrong with James's speech when he was a toddler. He just simply couldn't get the words out. It became very apparent very quickly that there was a stammer.
James had a difficult time at school in terms of the frustrations he had with his stammer. James would take a full minute to get one sentence out. Each word was a battle. It seemed to gradually get worse as he went through teenage years.
It was a particular time, it was my birthday. He came to the bedroom in the morning to wish me happy birthday, and he couldn't get a single word out.
James left us at the age of 16 with the most profound stammer I've ever heard, and our concern was that he would never ever recover from it.
And then at the age of 21, he turned around and said to his dad and I, right, I want to do something about this, and we decided to enrol him on a specific speech therapy course.
Can you tell me your name and address, please?
Every morning and every night, I wish I could take it away. But he works so hard at it every single day.
There's no doubt in my mind that if James could find his voice, it would transform his life and make him a completely different person.
To see James reach a level of fluency that he's happy with, and for him to get to his goal would just make me proudest mum in the world.
So, do you have an end goal? You know, something that you're aiming for?
We'll be going back to my old school and giving an inspirational talk all about my experience and my journey. It's about facing your fears.
How many people are you going to be talking to?
340.
So, James, you will have conquered your fear of public speaking by this time next year.
Thank you.
Thank you. James, everyone. So will James have conquered his fear of public speaking? Let's see. I'm too scared. How are you?
Fine, thanks. It's really good to see yourself again and to be here when I've got control of my stammer.
Yay! That is amazing! Now, I know the pledge that you made was to overcome your fear of public speaking. So before we go any further, let's just take a look at that moment you revisited your old school.
Good morning all. It's a delight this morning to welcome James back to school. James arrived here in 2002. He arrived with an incredible stammer and he's been on a journey to try and resolve that issue. It's a delight to have him here and I'm going to hand the stage over to him.
Here I am. Here I am, standing in front of all of you now. Here I am, saying the words I want to say. I am here to tell you all about my fight to speak. Growing up, I was the only one at school who stammered, the only one at work, the only one at university. Imagine when someone puts the phone down on you because the words won't come out. It was exhausting. Day to day, this stammering monster had control of me. Some people say they want a fast car, a big house, to travel the world. All I have ever wanted to do is to be able to speak. For years here, I struggled with my speech. Not anymore. If I can do this, I can do anything. If I can do this, you can do anything. James is my name. Speaking is my game. Bye for now.
The young boy who left us has come back as a completely different, reborn man, able to speak fluently. Wonderful to see.
Profoundly moving. How was that for you when you finished that speech?
It was fantastic. It was the best day of my life to be able to go back somewhere where I struggled for such a long time.
Yeah.
It's had all the emotion from the years when I couldn't speak. So for me to do that, I don't think anyone can ever take that away from me.
How have you got to this point where you've become so fluent?
Well, it's through working hard.
Yeah.
It's through having a goal in your life that you want to achieve and that you want to work towards, and you try to do something about it. And before, for example, I would get people to order things for me in a bar, in a restaurant. People would talk on the phone for me. As I say, my life was hard, and it's scary, sort of how good I sound and how good I am able to sound when things are going well. Like, I can't shut up half the time. On the way here, I stopped people in the street. It was great. Excuse me, have you got the time? You know, excuse me, do you know the way to Starbucks? You know, and half the time I don't talk because I want to talk. Half the time I talk because I can. It's great.
I mean, your family, they must love the fact that you can't shut up.
Well, a couple of my friends, I think they preferred it how I was because they can't get a word in edgeway. But you have to have that support of your family and your friends to help you to overcome it. And there has to be someone out there who's got a brother or a wife or a girlfriend who has a stammer. And if I can be an inspiration to them, then I've done what I should. And for me, that's the biggest thing.
So if you talk about the difference between you a year ago and you sat here today, and I'm overjoyed for you. Please, ladies and gentlemen, give him an absolute massive round of applause. James, everyone.
Hopefully that might put learning shorthand in perspective. Right, okay. Right, rather than me talk, I'm going to hand you over to James.
Testing. 1, 2, 3. Hopefully you're all able to hear me. If I can't, if you tell me to speak a bit louder, then I am more than happy to. First of all, can I just say a big thank you to everyone who has turned up today and for being invited back here to give a speech. I never thought at all that I would be asked to come back to give a speech when I have control of my speech for Journalism Week. So it really does mean everything to me to be stood here. What I'm going to do is I've got a couple of things I would like to say, and after I've said those things, of course, I would be more than happy to hear from all of you if you have any questions at all, or if you have anything at all that you want to ask. So, 1, I was really moved to see how well you have improved with your... 1, I was really ever moved to see how well you have improved with your speech and just how much it has done for you. You have achieved what you wanted in your life. 2, I don't know who you are, but I just wanted to say what an inspirational person you are. You should be so proud. Had us all in tears. Incredible. Well done. 3, you are a legend. The greatest respect to you, and well done for overcoming your stammer. You brought tears to my eyes. 4, watched you on this time next year. Absolutely incredible, and you should be very proud of yourself. Very touched with your story. Best of luck to you for the future. 5, just saw you and your story on the TV, and just wanted to say, wow. Your energy and determination is amazing. Such an inspiration. Thank you. Those are a couple of things I got sent through from people who I don't know. And strangers, they took the time to get in touch. They took the time to say they saw the show and they think I'm such inspiration, I'm this, and I am that. So just to tell you a bit about how it all started and how I've got to where I am, well, I did a sports journalism degree here. I was here for 3 years. I got a 2-1, and I was awarded the Journalism Departmental Prize. Since graduating, I've spent time at the BBC Sport, at BBC 5 Live, the Rugby World, the Yorkshire Post, and the Yorkshire Evening Post. As it stands, I work for a marketing company in town who have been absolutely fantastic and said, oh, of course, James, if you want to come back here to give a speech, fantastic. So thank you to them for giving us the chance to be here today to talk in front of all of you. But in a way, I'm not here to tell you all about my experience in sports journalism. What I'm here to do is to tell you all a story about a young boy who had hopes, dreams, and aspirations for the future. He was the same as any other person. He loved his sport and his toys, and he came from a loving family. But as this person got a bit older, he became aware that there was something that wasn't quite right. There was something about this person that wasn't the same. He was different compared to everyone else. The young boy that I am talking about, it is me, the stammerer, the stutterer, the guy who can't string 2 words together, the guy who can't pick up a phone and call a friend. The guy who got turned away from bars because the staff thought he was drunk. The guy who suffered for 21 years because of a debilitating stammer. That is what I'm here to tell you all about. How have I gone from that to where I am? How have I gone from suffering to control? I can't really begin to put it into words what it is like having a stammer. When you know the words you want to say, but you can't say them, it is the most frustrating thing. And with all the respect in the world, you can't possibly begin to know what it's like because you don't stammer yourselves. In this country, 1% of the population has got a stammer. I always thought it is unfortunate that I have a stammer. Why me? Why, at the age of 4, did I start to get stuck on words? Why did it get worse? Why couldn't I control my speech? But in a way, funnily enough, it's actually turned me into the person that I am. Having a stammer has shown me what other people take for granted, but also what you can achieve in your life if you work hard. If you really, really, really want to work hard at something, you're able to achieve whatever you want. There isn't any way that I should be here, really. There isn't any way that I should be stood here talking to you. You all saw what my stammer was like there. Hi, can you tell me your name and your address, please? Oh my God, I can't say my name. And for me, every single day of my life, it was that. It was forcing words out. It was living a big lie, really. Oh, it's fine. Oh, it's fine. Who cares? Who cares if I can't do the simple things? It's okay. I'll survive. I'll get through. But who wants to live their life in that way? Who wants to live their life waiting for the axe to fall, or waiting for someone to laugh, or for someone to walk off, or for someone to put you down? September 2015 was when I started this time next year. And I had a call from ITV to say that they were searching for someone who has a stammer, someone who wants to make a change in their life. So I went down to London, as you saw, a set, lights, cameras. And I said to her there, this time next year, I will take control of my stammer. Fast forward 1 year, September 2016, as you saw, I had a camera crew follow me for a year. Well, apart from when I went to the toilet, but I'm not going to talk about that. But yeah, and in the course of that year, I faced all my fears. I did something that scared me. I went back to my old school and I gave a talk. As you saw, I was almost in floods of tears. But I thought, okay, I'm going to be on the TV here, so I can't cry. I can't cry. Oh my God, I'm crying. So for me, today, I want to raise awareness of stammering. If I was to go around the room and say, do you know anyone who has a stammer? How many of you are going to put your hands up? Well, I suppose obviously all of you now know who I am, so in a way all of you know a person who has a stammer. But yeah, Gareth Gates, Ed Sheeran, Tiger Woods, Samuel L. Jackson, Ed Balls. There's a lot of people out there who suffer from a stammer. It's quite strange. I've got a smile on my face. It just goes to show, really. So, the show, it was aired on a Wednesday night. That Thursday, I was interviewed live on a BBC radio Leeds. I was also interviewed live on ITV Border. That Friday, I was interviewed live on BBC Radio Cumbria and interviewed live on BBC Radio Leeds. Funnily enough, somehow, I found myself on a Gogglebox. Now, it's the strangest thing, watching people who are on the TV, watch yourself on the TV, talking about you. Absolutely bizarre. Absolutely bizarre. I was sat there thinking, hold on, there's people there talking about me on the TV. Strange. But yeah, I had a call on the day to say, oh, James, you're going to be on a Gogglebox. I thought, oh, fantastic. Wow, awesome. I've been on the TV 4 times in the space of 3 days. And I also thought, oh, God, okay, then, I am going to be on a Gogglebox. What if it's a bad response? What if they say something bad? But in a way, it was actually quite good. Hey, that's a lot better, isn't it? Well done, James. I was like, fantastic. Thank you. So if you haven't seen me on a Gogglebox, I'm sure you're able to watch it on the internet or something. But it was certainly a bit of a laugh. But at the end of the day, all I am is a guy who has a stammer who went back to their old school. That's it. I'm just a guy who's trying to overcome a problem, yet it has captured the imagination of the great British public. Facebook went into overdrive. I had about 400 people who I didn't know get in touch. You are an inspiration. Thank you for sharing your story. Never stop talking. All the best for the rest of your life. You have offered hope for our son. Take a second to think about that. For me to get strangers getting in touch, with kind words. I don't think I will ever forget that. And also a couple of times I've been stopped in the street. Oh, you're the guy on the TV. Yeah, that's me. But unfortunately, I haven't been asked for a selfie yet, or for an autograph. So I'm not angry, just disappointed. And when I was asked to come back here to speak, of course, it was always going to happen. The speech therapy course that I am on to help control my stammer is called the Maguire program. And on the course, we talk about going back and doing something again if you weren't happy the first time. It's called cancellation. And I was having a think earlier. Yeah, I had a great 3 years here, had a fantastic time. But first year, I played rugby for the university side. And we all stood in a circle, and we had to say our first name and our position. So you've got Tom, prop, Jack, number 8, Phil, scrum half. For me, nothing. Well done, James. Second year, I had to take a radio production course for my degree. Oh, fantastic. Well done, James. Third year, I had to give a presentation all about sports journalism that went towards my final degree. I thought, oh, it's okay, I'll be fine. Stood up, stammered my face off, of course. Well done, James. Though, from experience, what I have learned is to never give up, to never give in. If you have something in your life you want to achieve. After the show, I've had requests from schools to go up and down the country to give inspirational talks. I've had companies who have got in touch and said, we saw you on the TV, can you come and give a speech? It was all from that show. It was all from me putting myself out there, from me pushing out my comfort zone and just trying to see how far I'm able to go. Now, because I'm not perfect, I still get stuck. There's still words, there's still sounds I have to work on. But for the rest of my life, I will have a stammer. There isn't anything I can do to take it away. I can't wave a wand. I can't say a prayer. I can't have an operation. There isn't anything I can do to take it away. So for the rest of my life, until the day I die, I will always have a stammer. So it is up to me how much I want to control it. Am I going to live my life in silence? Am I going to be dictated to by my stammer? Or am I going to do something about it? And I thought, what can I give to you for today? What do I want all of you to take from this? because I do want all of you to take something from this, because I want all of you to walk out and think, yeah, here's the guy who's got a stammer, but he stood up. He stood up and he spoke. And he spoke from the heart, and he said the words he wanted to say. So in life, how do you get from where you are to where you want to be? And there's one phrase that has stuck with me for a long time. You wouldn't ask a person with a broken leg to walk upstairs. So why are you asking a stammerer to speak? You wouldn't ask a person with a broken leg to walk upstairs. So why are you asking a stammerer to speak? That is something I've thought about for a long time. And that's something I want you all to take away. You're all in your first year, your second year, your third year. And you only live once. You only get one shot in this life. So what I want you all to do is to make the most of the time you have, because you are going to have obstacles to overcome. You are going to have things in your life that you need to overcome. For me, it was about my stammer. For another person who was on the show, it was about their weight. And for another person, they wanted to start a family. If you have an obstacle, what I want you to do is to work hard to overcome that. And just to give yourselves a bit of an example of the types of things I do to help control my speech. Excuse me, sir. I have a stammer, and I'm working on my speech. Thank you for your time. James. 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 So I will stop people in the street. I will go up to people and say, do you know the way to Starbucks? Or do you know the way to a shop? Or do you know the way to Smith's? James is my name. Speaking is my game. Thank you to all of you for being part of my journey. Thank you to Nigel, to Dean, to Catherine, and to Amy for having us back. It's been absolutely fantastic to talk to all of you today and to open up to you about my stammer. Thank you. Yeah, sure.
We've got 10 minutes for questions, so hopefully there's gentleman's come is an issue of confidence. Hopefully, none of you are going to be shy. Anyone got any questions for James?
Yeah.
What kind of techniques do you use to control stuff?
So, as I said earlier, I'm on a speech course called the Maguire program. So there are various things I can do to help my stammer. There is the physical side where I take a costal breath, so I have to learn to talk at the top of the breath, and then I can hit a sound. I can hit a sound assertively, or I can have eye contact, or I can take a pause. But there is the physical side. You're taught where you learn how to take a breath and how to talk at the top of your breath, and you also have the psychological side where you go from thinking I can't say a word to I can say a word. But there is more information about that on the website. Amy.
Can I just say first of all, welcome back and thank you. And this has been one of the proudest moments of my whole teaching career, so welcome back. But my question is, obviously we have a room full of potential journalists. What advice would you give them for helping them facilitate if they interview somebody with a stammer? So to help best get them, that person to communicate most comfortably.
Yeah, because to be fair, because I always thought that if I was ever in a interview, then of course it was always a lot harder for me, because I always thought, okay, because here's a company going to employ a person who has a stammer or a person who doesn't. But yeah, I would say if they are talking to a person who has a stammer, just to ensure they take the time to not finish off their words, to give them time to speak and to make them feel comfortable. Because I always saw that the worst type of thing was for someone to say, take your time. Although you have to relax. Just ensure they take their time, and you have to give a stammerer the time to get their words out.
I've got a colleague who could stammer, and I'm funny enough, I was talking to him about this the other day. I assumed, wrongly in his case, that the more nervous he was, the more likely he was to stammer. He was actually telling me it's the reverse. When he's nervous, he talks fluently. When he's relaxed, he stammers. And I wondered if that was the same with yourself.
Yeah, I suppose for me it is able to be affected by certain things. So if I'm stressed, or if I haven't slept, or if I've got a lot going on at work, of course it's able to affect my stammer. Like if I talk to family, it is easier compared to talking to a stranger. So that is why the best way for me to work on my speech is to do things I'm scared of. So if I'm scared of talking on the phone, I have to talk on the phone. If I'm scared of talking to girls, I have to talk to girls. It's stuff like that. Yeah.
A few years ago, there was a program called Educating Yorkshire, where there was a boy who had used music to help him with his stammer. Is that something that you try?
Because in a way, it is a big trick to get the words out. So of course he wore the earphones, as it was a way for him to get his words out, as he was able to disguise the sound of his own voice, but the guy who was on educating Yorkshire, he is actually on the same course, so he's been taught the same things that I have been taught, and he should talk in the same way. But it is the good thing about the course that everyone has got a stammer. So everyone who is on the Maguire program has a stammer, and you're able to relate, and you're able to relate to their experiences, which, you know, I suppose it is a good thing if you're all taught to talk in the same way. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, because I would say it would be to go back to BBC Sport. I was there for 5 days. It was absolutely fantastic. It was a great experience. I went over to Salford. Yeah, and I was part of the team for BBC Sport for a few days. So I was able to see how it all worked, how they get stuff onto the site, and yeah, it was a great experience. So if you ever get the chance to go along to work for the BBC, then I would certainly try to give it a go. It is a great company. Oh, in terms of my stammer, or in terms of work? Oh, okay, wow. Yeah, I would say in terms of my stammer, if I do continue to work hard, then hopefully I can get to the stage where I have it under control. So it isn't there, so I have it under control all the time, but it is hardly there. It'll take a lot of hard work for me. You know, I still have a long way to go, but in terms of my stammer, it's all about having the control over the words I want to say. And then in terms of every day, I don't know. I don't know. I'll have to come back to yourself on that one. Yeah.
I know your main focus is sport, but is there a thought of using the journalism to spread awareness of things like feminism and
Yeah, as I said before, I have been on the TV 4 times. I've been in the paper 6 times. I've done a couple of interviews on the radio. Yeah, so if I am able to raise awareness of stammering through the journalism, then it can only be a good thing. Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I was a kid, and I was at school, and I was always absolutely obsessed for sports and for writing, and I had a scrapbook, and I would always write down sport stories. And school, I wasn't really into school, so I came here to do a sports journalism degree, and it was a fantastic course. Yeah, I've always been a big fan of sports and of journalism, so it seemed like the right step and for the right thing for me to do. Yeah. That you have a voice that deserves to be heard. So if it takes you a couple of extra seconds to get a word out. It takes you a couple of extra seconds to get a word out. I think a lot of people who stammer, of course, it can have a big impact on their life. So if I can show them that it isn't really a big fuss, then, you know, it's good, yeah, because as I say, I do want to raise awareness, and I do want to show the world that, you know, if you have a stammer, it isn't a big thing. It isn't at the end of the world, and you are able to do things to get control.
Time for one more question?
Anyone? Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so when my stammer was at its worst, I had people who put their phone down on me. There were people who would walk off in the street, or they would say something, or I would be laughed at. I was turned away for jobs. I was turned away from bars. It was hard, you know, because as I say, it is the simple things, you know, like talking on the phone or having to order a taxi. It's the small things that I wasn't able to do. And the year before, I was discriminated against quite a lot.
Sadly, we're running out of time. I just want to close by saying one of the most satisfying things about this job is seeing students, particularly who come here in level 4 who are quite shy, develop, and that's why we try and get you to do presentations so that you turn out with the most confidence. And here's a classic example, and it's great for me. I follow James on Twitter and have done since he graduated, to see students progress down the road. And I still follow James on Twitter, and hopefully I won't embarrass him by just showing what some of his friends knocked together as a slight joke about the amount of fame that he has picked up in the last few weeks. Really, a truly inspirational talk, and all I want to do is just wrap up by if everyone can show their appreciation for taking time. James is at no mad rush to leave, so if anyone wants to have a chat with him or anyone wants to do an interview with him, feel free. Or a selfie.